Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here. We got another Washington Commanders weekly stream, and today we have a lot to talk about. I mean, there's always Dan Snyder news, but today a little bit different with Jim Irsay, pretty much just calling him out. So we're going to talk about that. Juan Gotti should be coming on here pretty soon. We'll get his thoughts on it, and we'll talk about the state of the team, some injury updates, Carson Wentz, Sam Howell, Taylor Heinicke talk. And we'll talk a little bit about the Packers game coming up, and I might even do a stream later on this week, um, previewing the game. So should be excited. What's up, Christian Sorto? Appreciate you coming through. And yeah, so I mean, I'm gonna wait a little bit longer for some more people to come in before we, really dive into the Dan Snyder news because it is a lot. Let's talk about real quick. Carson Wentz expected to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. So, big news right there. And we'll probably have Heinicke will start this week, probably the next few weeks, and until Wentz is back. So I think Heinicke will provide a spark for a few weeks. After that, though, who knows what we get from him. So, what's up, McKelly Thomas? Appreciate you coming through. So, let's go ahead and I'm gonna pull up the quote real quick, and let some more people come in here. But Jim Irsay had a lot to say about Dan Snyder, which I'm not a big Jim Irsay fan, but after what he said today, a little bit more of a fan. But yeah, Jim Irsay was talking crazy today, or I mean, he's always talking crazy, but he was talking crazy about Carson Wentz in the off season, stuff like that. So let's see what he said. Let me read it. He said, important. This is from Ian Rapport. Important words from Colts owner Jim Irsay and Commanders owner Daniel Snyder. I believe there is merit to removing him as owner. I believe owners have been painted incorrectly. Some of the things I've heard doesn't represent us at all. And then he said, asked if there are 24 votes. I think potentially there will be. And then Ian Rapport says, bombshells. So who knows? Maybe he's gone. I still am not going to get my hopes are a little bit up for sure. My hopes are a little bit up for sure, but I'm not going to get them up too much because the amount of things that Dan Snyder has survived is just absolutely crazy. Just absolutely crazy. And he hasn't gone. And until I see it, until I see those 24 votes, I'm not going to believe it. What's up, Bobby Smith? Appreciate coming through. Drunken Donuts, Will, Daryl. Appreciate you guys coming through. I got my guy Juan in here. Appreciate you coming through. How you doing, Juan?
What's going on, Pedro? How you doing, man? I appreciate you for having me on as always. And yeah, I'm doing good. How about you?
Yeah, doing solid, man. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure you heard the Dan Snyder news. What Jim Irsay said. So, what are your thoughts on that? And do you think anything will happen?
Yeah, my thoughts on the Jim Irsay comments was like it wasn't surprising. Um, they tried to say that like this was the first time an owner came out and actually said something about it. I feel like it hasn't. Maybe I'm wrong. But I feel like they haven't. I feel like this isn't the first time an owner came out and said something about it. But I mean, it's a little refreshing knowing that there are actual owners that believe he needs to sell because I mean I feel like they were all together at one point, but it's actually refreshing believing that there's an owner out there that believes he needs to go. But at the same time, I don't think anything's going to happen. They already done put out a letter, I guess, refusing it and saying that they basically won't sell the team. So I don't think anything's going to happen. But it was a little refreshing knowing that there is someone out there that kind of is with us in a sense of saying he needs to leave.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's going to be gone, but I don't know if someone's directly called him out and said he should be gone. And him saying that I think is big. Also saying that 24, they might have 24 votes is huge because, yeah, of course, they need 24 votes to oust Dan Snyder. So I think not a lot of guys, owners are going to say it publicly that they would vote him out, but I think a lot behind the scenes would probably vote against him. And hopefully something happens. I mean, he gets new allegations every single day and nothing really changes. So if he gets another bad allegation against him, maybe there'll be another investigation and maybe he will get, kicked out of the league. And I would be so, so happy about that. Like, as much as our problems right now with the team are like, we're not liking Rivera, Turner, Dillery, whatever. Snyder is much more of an issue than those guys at the moment. Snyder's just toxic, toxic workplace, everything about him, him getting too involved with decisions. Like, I honestly don't know if I believe the ESPN report that said he actually, was the one who asked to get Carson Wentz. I don't know if I believe that, but like just examples like that, the Dwayne Haskins thing, RG, so many of those things where he's interfered in the past, like, and it's hurt the team. It hurts the team. So he's been awful for us, and getting him gone would get rid of so many issues, and it would make, I feel like if we did fire Rivera after the year with a new owner, it would make our destination more attractive for a coach. Like Sean Payton isn't coming here to a team owned by Dan Snyder knowing the track record, but maybe he'll come for Jeff Bezos or someone else. So that's definitely something to consider. What's up, Dubs family? What's up, JJ, Chuck, and Michael? So yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think still don't think it's going to happen at least soon, but it could. But again, if it does, it could be a long, long process because we know how Dan Snyder is.
Yeah, I mean, again, at the end of the day, I really don't like talking about this situation really because it's like we're never going to get anything out of it. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we know Snyder's not going to be forced to sell. We know we're going to be stuck with him for the rest of our lifetime, probably because, man, the guy's only, 56, 57 years old. So he's going to be 70. We're going to be like 30, 40 years old, and he's still going to be around. So I don't think that he'll be trade or forced to sell at any point. So it's very sad and unfortunate. But again, it really just doesn't really care. I really don't care as much for it anyway because I don't think anything's gonna come out of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see like more and more reports before I actually start believing it. That's just me. Let's see. We got 70 people in here. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe. If you guys are new, sub up to me and also sub up to Juan. Put the link in the description soon. But if you just click on the title, if you just click on the title, Juan's channel is there. So make sure you guys subscribe to him. And also appreciate you guys for 9,000 subscribers. Hit that today. Road to 10K. Road to 10K before the end of the year. That's the goal. So hopefully we can get there. Yeah, make sure you guys sub up to both of us and hit that like button on the stream. So let's transition a little bit to, we'll start off with Carson Wentz talk. So your thoughts on the injury and Heinicke versus Howe?
Yeah, so my thoughts on the initial replay, in my head, I kind of knew that this was going to be the outcome because I even said on I do the live play-by-play streams, and I even said on the stream like it kind of looks like a Dak Prescott injury, right? So I wasn't surprised that it actually was the outcome. And as far as like the Heinicke versus Howe situation, it really was never a competition. I know a lot of you guys out there want to see Sam Howe. Me personally, although I think the season's over from the standpoint of turning all the way around or getting the playoff berth, I still want to see this team at least prove me wrong and we actually win games and actually still compete. So I don't think Sam Howell would have gave us that right now. You know what I'm saying? I think in like 4 weeks, if Washington is 2-8 and we're out of this thing, then you put in Howell in about 4 weeks and give him the rest of the season to work and see what he has. But if you're in 4 weeks with Taylor Heinicke and you're 6-4, you're right back in the thick of things. So I say at least give yourself a chance to get back in this thing. And I think Taylor Heinicke gives you that shot. As far as Sam Howell, if you would have put him in there down, I think you're basically just putting the two shots into the season and basically saying it's over. So that's my thoughts on that. I don't think it was ever a competition. And again, how I said in my video when initial injury came out that if Heinicke had to play, I really didn't care that Wentz got hurt. Obviously, I don't want to see him get hurt, but I really didn't have nothing. Like I wasn't sad about it because I knew we had Taylor Heinicke, and I know we could still be competitive with TH. So that's how I honestly thought about it.
Yeah, and I think that it is what it is with Carson Wentz. We know what we're going to get with him. He does have injury issues, and that one just, unfortunate injury. He's throwing. Every quarterback is going to, get hurt on that play. Unfortunate for him. And yeah, I don't think it affects their win-loss total that much because I think Heinicke at least the first 2 to 3 weeks is going to provide a big spark to this team, to this offense. Much more mobile than what Wentz has been, and I think that'll help out the offense a little bit. So I think the first 2 3 weeks, our offense is going to be a little better. I honestly would not be surprised if we beat the Green Bay Packers. The only reason I'm probably not going to pick us is because I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be mad after losing to the Jets and Giants 2 back-to-back weeks. That's ugly. Aaron Rodgers is going to be mad, and I think they're probably going to beat us. But I don't think, besides the playoff win, I don't think Aaron Rodgers has won at FedEx Field. So what's up, DeAndre? Appreciate you coming through. So, I mean, I don't know. We definitely have a chance in that game. They haven't been playing well. It's at home, I believe. And, yeah, we'll see what happens there. And Heinicke played okay at times last year in the Green Bay game, but had that terrible mistake of kneeling, kind of falling down right before the end zone. So I think Heinicke will be a little bit better than what Wentz was for us for a couple weeks, and then after that, will probably be more of what Heinicke was last year for most of the season. And I think that I agree with what Juan said. Like, no reason to put Howell in right now. We shouldn't be talking about playoffs, but we're one game out of the wild card. It's still very, very early, but you're one game out. Like, I mean, you can't throw in the towel already and put in Howell. I think it just like there was people that were rooting for us to lose in that game and against the Bears. I just can't do that, Juan. Like, or this early in the season, it was what, week 5, week 6. Like, I can't root for the tank that early. If we would have lost the Bears, that would have probably put me to the over the edge to root for us to lose. But I'm feeling like this team's gonna be a little bit more competitive these next few weeks. And if Heinicke plays well, they have a chance to get in that playoff talk.
Yeah, I mean, well, let me address this comment by Will. First, he says we have a terrible team. No, we don't. Will, we do not have a terrible team.
We have bad coaches.
This team is as talented as pretty much 80% of the league. I mean, obviously, teams like the Bills, Chiefs, Eagles, and maybe 2 more other teams are probably better than the Commanders. But talent-wise, as far as skill position, defense, we're talented enough to be undefeated right now. We're talented enough to be 4-2, 5-1 right now. But it is the coaching as to why we are not where we are. Prime example is the New York Giants. They're 5-1 right now, and they don't have nearly as much talent as us. But they're 5-1. Why? Because Brian Daboll is a hell of a head coach. Look how much coaching can change you. We do not have a terrible team. This is not 2019 anymore, where your star receiver is literally, was it Dontre Elliman was 2020, but was 2019. You got rookie Terry, rookie Kelvin Harmon. Steven Sims is a rookie wide receiver, and just trash. This team is talented enough to be up there in the top of the NFC right now, but it's the coaching as to why this team is not where it's at. Moving on to the next thing that you want to talk about, Taylor Heinicke, and as far as what does he possibly bring to this team, and you know what I'm saying? Obviously, Taylor Heinicke brings the ability to extend plays and the moxie and off scheduling and just the aggressiveness. He brings all of that. You know what I'm saying? And him knowing the system like the back of his hand, he brings all that. I'm excited to see what he can do, but I'm more excited, and I said this countless times, even in my video yesterday and today, I'm more excited to see what is he going to look like now that he has more experience under his belt. He has a whole year practically of starting experience. What is that going to do for him moving forward? Obviously, I want to see what he's going to look like with the weapons and stuff like that, but what is he going to look like moving forward now having a full year of starting experience under his belt? I personally don't think much is going to change as far as the offense. Everyone wants to talk about Taylor Heinicke, what he can bring. Cool. But I don't think much is going to change, not because Taylor Heinicke is not a good player, but the same common denominator still holds. Scott Turner is the offensive coordinator. Whether it's Carson Wentz, whether it's Kyle Allen, whether it's Dwayne Haskins, whether it is whoever, Taylor Heinicke, the offense is still going to look the same because Scott Turner is still running the operation. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if much is going to change as far as the play style, the play design, because he is still the common factor dominator. There's so much Taylor Heinicke can do because before, obviously Scott Turner interferes. But I definitely think he brings some type of excitement, some type of fresh breath of fresh air to this team. And I'm definitely excited to see what Taylor Heinicke can do this Sunday.
Yeah, and I kind of agree. I mean, Turner's definitely not been good this year besides maybe the first two games this season. I think, though, that, Heinicke and Turner, worked well at times last year with just terrible weapons. And I think we have more weapons this year. So I am a little bit excited to see how they can do. DeAndre Taylor, appreciate the $5 donation. He says, best case scenario, Heinicke loses 3 of the next 4. We go to Hal. He balls out to finish the season. Hal starts 2023 BPA rounds. Or best player available 1 to 2 cornerback / O-line. And I kind of agree with the sentiment. The only thing is the chances that Hal is your franchise QB is so low. Like, he went in the 5th round for a reason. Like, I just don't see it. I don't think Sam Howell is a franchise QB. Yeah, you got to play him to see, but I just don't feel like going into next season with Sam Howell as our QB1, unless he really, really looks good. I agree with Roger. I don't think he's a future. And I mean, I think you should play him if you're out of the playoff contention, because you're probably gonna have a higher chance of losing and getting better picks, and you see what you get in Hal. That's just my thoughts. I don't think Hal's gonna be the guy, but I think if you are in the scenario where Juan said you're 2-8, 3-10, 3-11, then play Hal. Play Hal for the rest of the year. Like, when Wentz comes back, unless we have a chance of like making the playoffs, I don't want to see him as a QB, because I don't want to lose that 2nd round pick. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be close, because it looking like he's not going to be out for 6 weeks. It's looking like he's going to be out for probably 4 or 5 weeks. So, if that's the case, he's probably going to actually be playing over 70% of snaps, unless they bench him for Hal or something like that. So I really do not want to give up a 2nd round pick. That's the thing with the Wentz trade. I really did not like what we gave up to get him. I remember saying that I was fine with getting Wentz, but I just thought we gave up way too much, and it's looking like that's the case. We'll see, though. Still, time will tell, but I think playing Howell right now is a little early, and I just don't think he's going to be a franchise QB. Appreciate the donation, but it would be nice if he was, DeAndre. And you got to see. So you got to at least test him out, see how he looks, before you decide what you're going to do next year. What do you think, Juan, about Hal and like his chance of being a franchise QB?
What I think about Sam Howell and his chance to be a franchise QB is it's unknown right now. Based off what he did in the preseason, I think he deserves a shot to at least see if you can do that. I think it's way too early to detect that he can't be a franchise quarterback, and people want to go off the 5th round as the reason why they don't think he can. Let me tell you this. There's a guy named Tom Brady, and I know everyone's not Tom Brady. There's a guy named Tom Brady that went in later rounds. There's countless other quarterbacks that went to later rounds. Bailey Zapp is cooking right now. You know what I'm saying? It's a real controversy in New England. So I just think it's all about coaching and trying to get the best out of your quarterback. And I think it's too early to say that he can't be a franchise quarterback. But do I trust this coaching staff to put him in the right direction to possibly be? No, I do not. If you want to see if Sam Howell could be a franchise quarterback, that means we're restarting this whole thing. That means you want to fire Ronald Rivera, you're going to fire Scott Turner, you're going to do everything and just start all over. Because I do not trust this coaching staff to develop this quarterback in the right way. I feel like if Sam Howell can get a fresh start with a new quarterback, with new coaching staff, he'll probably be good. But I feel like if we're trying to develop him under this system, he's not going to thrive, and then he may not be a franchise quarterback. But I feel like it's still too early to tell if he can be.
Yeah, I think too early. I think the only thing with Hal is I just feel like even if he is better than what we think he is, like, what's the ceiling there? You know what I mean? What's the ceiling? And I think also putting him in right now, not now, but like in a few weeks, could be a little bit detrimental to him, because he took a lot of sacks in college, and our offensive line has not been good. But I agree with what most people are saying. Got to play him at some point this year if the playoffs are out of sight, and to at least see what he can be, because maybe he can be a low tier starter or even a mid tier starter, and you'll take that for sure. You'll take that for sure as a placeholder while you get your franchise QB. Let's talk about William Jackson III. So, a lot of reports saying that he's requesting a trade, and then he comes out and says he doesn't. But I think most people believe that he is wanting out. So, what do you think will happen? Do you think we'll get traded? And also, how much do you think we can get for him?
Yeah, I said that in my video today. That I believe he did request the trade. I feel like he's just now trying to cover it up. I feel like Ron Rivera is trying to do the same. Um, I feel like if we were to trade him, I feel like we would probably get maybe a 6th round pick out of him. I don't think he will get anything better. And again, it's not really a shame on William Jackson. Because I mean, yeah, he's been bad here, but we didn't put him in the best position to thrive and be successful. I mean, that was doomed from the start. We get a man-to-man corner going his own scheme. It was doomed from the start. I think whatever team he goes to next, he's going to be actually be good, and he's going to be go back to the William Jackson that got him paid here in Washington. I just don't think it's a good fit. I think he did request a trade, and I think we would probably get maybe a 6th round pick out of him, but hopefully more. And if he didn't request a trade, and then the media just went on about it and actually said that, and like they just ran with that story, that person needs to get checked.
Yeah, for me, we misused William Jackson III, and it wasn't a good fit. I still think he's trash because you see like 5th round corners like I think it's Woolen or Wooden from Seattle, balling like guys like it's just like if you're good, you're gonna be good no matter what. And I just don't think William Jackson III is that guy. Yes, I think he can be good in certain situations, but the guys that are truly good are good no matter what. And I don't think yeah, I mean, depending on the situation, it'll really have to be a good fit for him to succeed wherever he goes. He just has struggled here. He's struggled, like, even when he's been playing man at times, he's struggled. And I think we can, like Roger said, maybe a 6th round pick. A 6th round pick would be great if we could get, like, honestly, if we just straight up gave William Jackson the third away, I would do that because of his contract. 14 million, something like that this year. And I think next year it's going to be even more. What's up, Contour? What's up, Jayla? Appreciate you guys coming through. So if we can get a 6th round pick, I would love that. I think there's reports saying that there's several teams interested. I think the Bucks, a few other teams. So would be amazing if we could get anything for him, get some assets for the future. Let's see. So yeah, I mean, I think that would be amazing, and I think he will get traded or released. I don't think he's going to be back just because he's not going to play for us. I mean, it's going to be Kendall Fuller, who's not great, Benjamin St. Juste, and Wild Goose over William Jackson III, even if he comes back. And then if we have a bad pick this year in the draft, like not top 10, we might have to take a cornerback, honestly, because our cornerbacks are trash. But if we're in the top 10, take a QB, take a QB, take a QB, trade up. That's why we really can't lose that 2nd round pick, because if we want to trade up into this draft, we're going to need everything we can get to get one of these top guys. So I'm just hoping we avoid the worst case scenario, because the worst case scenario is you win 6-7 games, get a bad draft pick, plus Carson Wentz plays 70+% of the snaps and you lose the 2nd round pick. That's just the worst case scenario. That's the worst case scenario. The Hawk TV, appreciate the $10 donation, says if you're good no matter what, Pedro. With that said, let's all howl for Hal. Hal. If he does end up playing, I will be excited to watch him. Honestly, I will be excited to watch him because he showed some things in the preseason where it's like, okay, this guy has some things. Like, he has some mobility, and he's got that arm talent. I think you give him some more weeks to develop he's going to be the backup for the next few weeks. So he's going to get more development than he's been getting because he's going to get some reps in practice, but also he will have to prepare as the backup, which he hasn't had to do. So I think, Hal is going to be exciting. And imagine if we were the Red Wolves and everyone was howling for Sam Howell. But, we're the Commanders. It is what it is. But appreciate that donation, man. Helps out a ton. So Yeah, I think we were talking about corners. That could be a position we go after the draft. And yeah, the worst case scenario would be once play 70+% of snaps, we win 6 games and get the 11th pick. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I definitely would. Because if you're down in that situation, you don't have a second round pick, so that makes your first round pick. You have to hit on it even more. And at the 11th pick, who do you get? You know what I'm saying? Because if you're at the 11th pick, I'm thinking you go cornerback. You know what I'm saying? It's my looking at the early, draft, like needs for us, it's clearly quarterback. But if you're not in the top five, you're probably not going to get a really good quarterback. So then the next need is cornerback. Like we need a cornerback desperately. Um, and if Washington plays themselves in a predicament like that, we that's the only thing we can really go to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about it. Dotson is a smaller Stephon Diggs. SD is the best receiver in the NFL, hands down. I don't know if I would put Dotson. I don't know if I would compare Dotson to him. Uh, my comparison for Dawson before I seen him play was a Hollywood Brown that could catch tremendously, but I won't know if I would say he's a smaller SD. SD is he's so good, man.
Yeah, Diggs is amazing. I would maybe put Devontae over him, but like he's top two, top three, no matter what. He's probably having the best season out of any receiver this year. I'll give him that, and a DMV guy as well. But let's see. I'm trying to think. So yeah, what I was gonna say, cornerback is a need, and I think guard is a need as well. I don't think you draft one in the first round, but if you still have that second round pick, like I think left tackle, I feel good about Leno. Like I honestly feel good about Leno. He's been good for us. And then Cosme, I don't know. I feel like Cosme has played good at times at right tackle, could be better at right guard, but I think we need a left guard for sure, and maybe if we switch Cosme to right guard, maybe we need a right tackle. Oh, we would need a right tackle as well, but I think guard and cornerback are probably our biggest needs, along with linebacker, which especially Cole Holcomb being a free agent, like please just sign a free agent, man. Like it's not that hard. There's a lot of good ones out there. There's a lot of good ones that are playing well. Like Aluaquan from the Jags playing well, Leighton Vander Esch is playing well, like even Anthony Barr is playing all right. Like guys like that you could easily sign. They don't sign them, and it comes back to bite them in the butt. So just yeah, it just sucks. It just sucks. Obvious things they could have done at linebacker they didn't do to get better, and they're gonna have to do it. I mean, they're gonna have to do it again. The linebacker is still a hole, cornerback is a hole, and I would say guard is a hole as well. And they can fix that easily right now by getting bringing back Eric Flowers, but I don't I don't think they're gonna do that at all.
Well,
Um,
I'll say this, like honestly, and this is how I really feel now. Yes, linebacker can definitely still be an upgrade, but as of late, both Jamin Davis and Cole Holcomb have both been playing well. Have they been great? No, but like you remember at a point in time, they were like not Cole Holcomb, but Jamin Davis was a problem. Like when he wasn't getting on the field enough, and I clearly you could tell that he wasn't being good. But as of late, and we knew the linebacker depth was terrible. But literally, as of late, for the third time in my sentence, they have not been a problem. At least I haven't seen nothing. They haven't been a major problem. Like they've actually been really solid. So yes, you still probably draft a linebacker in this year's draft, but right now,
maybe in the third or something
right
like that.
now, Jamin Davis finally turning a corner. Obviously, you want to see him live up to the 19th pick and be like an actual game changer. But what if that's not him? What if he's just a serviceable starting linebacker? I might be fine with it. I don't know if the defense as a whole is just playing much, much better, which they are, but much, much better, and that has something to do with it, or if they're genuinely just Jamie Davis genuinely starting to find his way. He's starting to look really good. Two linebackers are looking really, really good. Now, obviously, the depth is still bad, so obviously you want to attack that if we at some point need to tap into that. But right now, as the two starters, linebacker actually is a surprise, like positive about this team right now.
Yeah, I mean, Jamin Davis has been, all right. I mean, the last game I don't think he played well, before that, he was actually better, and I think I agree with Commanders fan in Texas. Holcomb's probably better as an outside linebacker, but he's been underwhelming in my opinion. For Holcomb has compared to what he's done in the past. It is what it is. A free agent, maybe he doesn't come back. What's up, Michael?
I
Appreciate.
feel like he had a slow start to the season, but I feel like as of late, he's finally starting to get comfortable as a middle linebacker. Now I don't know.
He's definitely played better, I think, the last couple of weeks. But still would like him to play a little bit better. We still got time. We still got time for sure. And then I'm trying to think of what else to talk about. So other injury updates: Jahan Dotson, Cosme, all those guys. No updates from Rivera today. They said we'll see later this week on how those guys go. I think Dotson might be back. Same thing maybe with Logan, but I think Cosme might be another week or two. But Cornelius Lucas can hold it down for a little while Cosme is out for sure. And I'm trying to think. So going to this Packers game, Juan. The Packers have lost their last 2 games at least. Jets and Giants, which is just pathetic. And I don't know. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be mad, so it's going to be tough to win. But like the Packers aren't that good. Like offensive line, not that good. And I mean, they still got Aaron Rodgers, but like I'm not too scared of the Packers. I still will probably predict us to lose, but I think it's a winnable game. I think it's a winnable game for sure. And especially maybe with Heinicke bring us a little bit of a spark, I could see us winning this one.
Yeah. How I feel about this, and I'll be completely honest with you guys, man. I would have much rather faced Aaron Rodgers coming off of a win versus the Jets. But the fact that he lost 2 in a row to both the Giants and the Jets, I don't want to see this man. Because not that he's going to be angry, but when is the last time Aaron Rodgers has lost 2 or 3 in a row in his career? When is the last time that happened? You know what I'm saying? And, Washington is always the get-right game for every team, and hopefully that's different now. But, they're typically always the get-right team. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't see Aaron Rodgers losing 3 in a row. But if it does happen, would I be surprised if this is the year? No, because they're like talent-wise on offense inept. It's so much he can do. That Jets defense is tear them up. And quick side note, do you guys think the Jets are like legit, or do you think they're just getting off to a fast start, like a good start?
I do not think they're legit. I don't think Zach Wilson's been good. And I mean, they beat the Dolphins, but the Dolphins were playing with Skylar Thompson. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe they prove me wrong. I just don't think they're that good. But we'll see. And one thing I want to talk about the coaches. I saw Roger talk about it. I saw Armin Brown talk about. I mean, the coaches aren't great. I don't. I've lost trust in almost all these guys, and I think that you look at the Giants. Their roster right now is awful. If you look at like the players they're playing on the field right now are awful because they have a lot of injuries, and even without the injuries, I think our team's a little bit better. Our roster's better than theirs, but with the injuries, like their roster is just terrible, and they're 5-1. They're 5-1. It's just absolutely insane, and it's not even like it's a fluke either. Like or at least not that they're beating terrible teams. They beat the Titans, who are not bad. They beat the Ravens. They beat the Packers. Like those are some quality wins. So it's on the coaching, and the coaching puts the players in the right position, players that they like, that they feel like they can win with, and the GM is good as well, Joe Shane. So I really like what the Giants are doing, and unfortunately, it's in our division, and we're the worst team in the division. It just sucks. I really, really liked Joe Shane. Like when we wanted to get a GM, that's the guy I wanted. And of course, we get Mark Mayhew, connection with Ron. And
let me add that to the Giants. Like they very well, honest, and I hate to say this because they're the division rival, and like I don't like the Giants at all. But they very well could be 16-0, or not 16-0, godly 6-0 right now because they only lost to the Cowboys by 6 points. or a touchdown rather. 7 points. If they got a little bit better offensive performance by some of their guys, they probably could be 6-0 right now. That's their only loss on the season, and they got the Jaguars. They got the Jaguars, the Seahawks, who actually are surprisingly playing well. So that could be a game that they could actually lose. But they got the Jaguars, Texans, or Jaguars, Seahawks, Texans, us, and like they got a they got 5-1 through their toughest part of their schedule. They have the easiest part of their schedule coming up, where it goes from Jacksonville to Seahawks, to then the Texans, and then the Lions, and then the Cowboys again, and then us twice. You know what I'm saying? They I hate to say it, but the Giants could very well make the playoffs, man. And it sucks that we thought we were going to be the team turning the corner, and we thought that everyone else was going to be good, but we thought the Giants were going to be like the fourth place team, and as Pedro alluded to, that's not the case. We're actually the worst team in this division, so it sucks, man, because everyone is good, but like I just hope eventually one year we could turn it around and be like these guys, man. Because if we were 5-1 right now, it would be so amazing, and we would be like so happy, man. Because you look at the Giants fans, they're so happy, man. You look at the Eagles, sports town, like Philadelphia sports town is crazy right now. I mean, the Eagles are 6-0, and then the Flyers are, or not the Flyers, the Phillies are in the NLCS. They're playing literally right now, and then you got the Sixers starting their season. Like the Philly sports town is so happy right now. And I just hope one day, man, we can get that kind of feeling, man. Like again, if we were 6-0 right now, or 5-1, Pedro, or even 4-2, we would be so happy right now. But yet we're sitting at 2-4, and we're fighting for our season.
Even 3-3, man. Even 3-3, I would be happy. I mean, we would be tied for a wild card spot going into week whatever 7. Like, and it sucks. It sucks. And yeah, I don't know what spam that was.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I always get that. I don't. This is
yeah,
I always get those.
yeah, it's annoying. But yeah, we got over 100 people in here. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new. Hit 9K today, on the road to 10K, hopefully before the end of the year. Help me get there. I'm sure one of the 103 people that are here aren't subscribed. Go ahead and do it. It's free. Just one button. And make sure you guys sub up to Juan as well. I'm putting the link in the chat. Sub up to him on the road to 5K. Get him there as well. We need to get that done soon. And yeah, hit that like button as well. Let's see. So yeah, appreciate you guys doing that. What were we just talking about?
We were talking about us, like everyone else being good in the
Oh
NFC,
yeah,
except for us.
yeah. At the end of the day, it comes down to coaching, and well, at least with the Eagles and the Giants, the Cowboys, they had a lot of talent in there before, and I don't really think Mike McCarthy's that good of coach, but so far he's done a solid job. They held it down while while Dak Prescott was out. Yeah, Roger, I agree with you. It could be, let's see, assistant GM from the Chiefs, or someone like Adam Peters from the 49ers, a young guy as well. Just a young guy. Just, yeah, give me someone like that that's done well before, has a proven track record. The assistant GM from the Chiefs would be great as well. And an offensive coordinator, or an offensive guy, in my opinion, as the coach. I agree with that as well. And yeah, I mean, you look at Nick Sirianni. I'm pretty sure. I mean, Roger, you love the line of scrimmage and stuff like that, or the trenches. I think Nick Sirianni would have been a perfect coach for you, or what coach you would like us to have. And he's done a really good job there. It's it sucks right now. All three teams besides Washington are succeeding. We are, hopefully by the end of this year it switches around a little bit, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. And honestly, this team, like, we have holes, but quarterback's the biggest one. And we're just going to have to start throwing darts. Every year, draft a quarterback early, man. Like, this next year, we get a bad pick, draft a QB, see how he does, try to develop him. Hopefully we'll be in with another coaching staff, because if you don't have a good QB in this league, you're not going to be that good. And usually most of the good QBs were drafted by the team they're on. Like, you look at the best QBs, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, You can throw Jalen Hurts in there. All those guys. Aaron Rodgers. Like they were drafted by the team they're on right now, and Lamar as well. Like so many of those guys. I know I'm missing guys, but I mean Tom Brady isn't wasn't drafted by the team he's on right now, but for the most part he was on that team. So it's for the most part you win because of your quarterback, and especially if he's on a rookie deal, helps out a ton. Like all the veteran QBs that are traded for this year or signed didn't work out. Russell Wilson, or at least haven't worked out yet. I was a big Russell Wilson fan. I really wanted us to get him. He hasn't been good, and I know Juan, you're a fan of him as well. But he hasn't been good. Broncos haven't been good. The Matt Ryan trade doesn't look great. And same thing with the Carson Wentz trade. Doesn't look great at all. And even like some of the signs like Mitch Trubisky, guys like that. So the way to go is rookie QB, and you just have to shoot your shot. You just have to and try to get one. So I think if it doesn't work out with Wentz, which it's looking like that's the case, you got to go and get a QB in the draft this year.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like looking at everybody else's team in the division. Start with the Nick Sirianni comment. I was watching that Sunday night game, and I'm just like, look at how easy he just draws up plays. Like it was the AJ Brown's touchdown, and look how wide open he was, man. And I understand not everyone has the Jalen Hurts like ability, with the dual threat ability, but we could do that with Carson Wentz, man. Like it's not hard to draw up quick passes out to your best receiver, man. And it goes back to coaching. You know what I'm saying? Because again, look how easy that they make it for Daniel Jones in New York, and how easy they make it for Jalen Hurts, even Cooper Rush. And I think the real Cooper Rush finally came out, but even Cooper Rush had it easy at a point in time. We don't make it that way. You know what I'm saying? We got to make it hard. We got to fight for every inch, man. You know what I'm saying? And just bad coaching and play calling. Like it does not have to be this hard. Football is not rocket science. You know what I'm saying? Get your best playmakers the ball. And I don't understand why Scott Turner is now in his third year and he does not understand that. It still boggles the mind. But yeah, I just look at the other teams and just wish we had their way of thinking. The second question I kind of wanted to ask before I get back to my to addressing the rookie quarterback situation. Has Daniel Jones turned the corner? Like I remember Daniel Jones, like I remember we were like Daniel Jones sucks. He's like should be rated higher than Carson Wentz, but I have to admit it, considering the fact of what he played with, his numbers has not been amazing, but he compared to what he used to be, maybe he's turning the corner, man, and it has to do a lot with Brian Dable because I mean, look what Brian Dable did for Josh Allen. And it's a lot of football left, and he very well could turn back around to the old Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
But right now, I think you have to say Daniel Jones maybe turning a corner in front of our eyes.
Okay, here's the thing with him. I think he's turned a corner, but he's still got a ways to. Here's the thing. First of all, he's every year he gets injured, and that's like a big thing with him. Every single year he's been in the league, he's been injured. I think he's better, no doubt. And I haven't watched enough Giants football to really come up with an accurate conclusion on this. Assessment on this. I still don't think he's a franchise guy. I think he's a guy that the Giants will probably be moving on from after this year, unless if they win 10 plus games with Daniel Jones, and it looks like he's the reason why. And honestly, they're on track to win 10 plus games. Then maybe you keep him, but I think they can do better. But for now, they'll keep Jones, but maybe look at some other options as well. I saw a couple comments I want to address. So, Armin Brown says, "I'm glad we didn't get Russ this offseason. My issues is QB draft class isn't that great. Stratus, man, Young is a leader, but man, I think Young is amazing. I think Bryce Young is. I mean, you see what he did in the Alabama game, Alabama-Tennessee game. They lost, but he put them in position to kick the field goal at the end there. And you see what he was going through, like the pressure, the offensive line for Alabama isn't great. Like he doesn't have the weapons that past Alabama quarterbacks have. Like he doesn't have Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, like guys like that were all on the same receiving core. Like he doesn't have that. He doesn't have a Jameson Williams. He has some good weapons, but he doesn't have the normal Alabama type weapons, in my opinion. So I really like Bryce Young. He's my number one QB. He's very small, which is his main issue, but I would draft Bryce Young in a heartbeat. I know he's small, but
I personally, well, were you done? My bad. Were you done?
no, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, no. Honestly, Pedro, I think I would draft Hendon Hooker. I personally would draft Hendon Hooker. He's 24 years old, man. He's old. Like, he's old, bro. And I personally want a quarterback, not saying Bryce Young can't come in here and immediately turn this franchise around, but I want a quarterback that we don't have to develop, man. That we don't have to continue to waste years, not waste, but wait years for the guy to blossom. And I think Bryce Young has the capability to be a better quarterback in the league, but I think you will have to wait on that. I think Hendon Hooker, considering the fact that he's so old coming out of college, he may be ready to go right in. And he had a magnificent game versus the Alabama Crimson Tide last week. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if he's projected to go in the first round or not, but I would draft Hendon Hooker, man. I honestly would.
The thing with me is, though, at this point, I'm not really. I mean, obviously, I'm looking to win, but my thing is look for the best QB in 5. Like, who's going to be the best QB in 3-5 years? That's who I want on my team, and I think that's going to be Bryce Young. I think C.J. Stroud's good, but I don't like. He's got a lot of great weapons, and the Ohio State thing. Like, it's like it gets to the point where there's so many like players that have come out there that haven't worked out that you're like, okay, maybe it's true. I'm still not like 100% on that train, but I would take Bryce Love. I think he is, or Bryce Young. I always say Bryce Love because of Bryce Love, who was on the Redskins, but I think Bryce Young is going to be a beast, and I would take him. I would take him number one if he was there, for sure. And then a Packers fan said that he wouldn't be surprised if we beat them because they've been trash. Their O-line's been trash. Hey, I said the same thing. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going to pick the Packers to win probably. But I think that the Commanders definitely have a chance for sure. I think Heinicke will provide a spark, and as long as he doesn't kneel at the goal line, we might be able to do well. Yeah. Roger Smith says Howell's in the future. I would probably agree on that. But someone said it earlier, let him play the last 5 games of the season. I mean, if we're bad, then go ahead and do it. Let him play. Let him play the last 5 games of the season. Yeah, Will Levis is another option. We'll see what happens with him the rest of the year. I honestly, I don't watch much Kentucky football, so got to watch more there. Let's see. I disagree with both of you guys. I think if we get a good offensive-minded coach that he could work with what he have. I mean, yeah, I think he could. But I also think Carson Wentz isn't the answer at QB. That's my opinion. I don't know if Juan has another take, but I think Wentz, honestly, if you put the right weapons around him, which I think we have, and improve the coaching a little bit, I just think we need a better offensive line. I think he can be serviceable for you, but I don't think he's ever going to be 2017 Wentz or 2019 Wentz when he's the reason why teams are winning, or why the Eagles were winning games. I don't think he's ever going to be back at that point.
I don't. Hold on. Let me read the comment again because I want to. I personally feel like Washington, like it's just like it says. I disagree with both of you guys. I think if you got a good offensive-minded coach that he could work with, he has. As far as what you're talking about, what he has, you just said you're not talking about wins, so you're talking about everything other than wins. Okay, everything else, that's true. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we just said that at the top of the show. The talent is not the issue; it's the coaching. Like, this team is talented enough right now to be 5-1, 6-0, or even 4-2. But we don't have the coaching staff that has the smarts to get it done. So I agree with you. We both did at the top of the show, matter of fact. But if you're talking about Wentz per se, I honestly I want to say he's not the answer. But then again, like, we haven't really seen what he's really capable of with good coaching. Like, Yes, Wentz has not been perfect. He has had plays where it's like, come on, Wentz, what are you doing? But he's also had plays where he's looking amazing, like the Jahan Dawson touchdowns, like the Terry McLaurin one in stride, like the Curtis Samuel dime that he passed to him last week that he dropped. He has flashes. You know what I'm saying? But again, I think Wentz is mentally fragile. I think he's mentally weak. I think he gets rattled too easily. And I think the coaching hasn't put him in the best position to survive. Like, yes, the goal line pick that you can't have that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, why didn't the coaches call a run? Why didn't the coaches call a better play design than that? You know what I'm saying? That design was
Why
horrible.
didn't Ron Rivera? Why did he challenge that play that was clearly an incompletion? Why did he call a
Exactly.
timeout 6 seconds after the the play ended? Like that. Like obviously Turner did not drop great plays, but I think that was way more on Rivera than Turner because if they would have had a timeout, they would have easily been able to run the ball and have 3 more plays. But
Right.
because they had no timeout, if they would have ran the ball, they would have probably had to spike it and they'd have had like 6 seconds left to have maybe one more play. So it would have been tough to run it. But if Rivera didn't, have that stupid challenge and waste 6 seconds, they could have had a run, maybe even 2 runs. But yeah, Rivera just sold that game in my opinion. I was so mad after that game because Rivera just killed us there. Also,
Okay.
at the end of the first half, like terrible clock management. We could have had the ball back with 1 minute 15 seconds to potentially score, and he doesn't call it, or he doesn't call a timeout on first and goal, then calls a timeout on second and goal, and then doesn't call a timeout. We could have had the ball back, and that could have been the difference in the game. His clock management sucks. This coaching staff in general is not great, and if they were better, I think this team would be better.
Um, I personally feel like, yeah, if they would have ran it, like, yeah, it'd have been tough, but I think we would have got 2 yards. Like, I really do. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely agree with everything you said. But I also feel like, yeah, if we would have ran it, we would have got 2 yards. I still think we would have. But again, at the end of the day, this coaching staff is inept. It's horrible. And they're the reason why we are where we are. Point blank, period.
Exactly. And then one other thing I want to talk about before maybe we answer a few questions and call it a day. Chase Young injury update. I think they said that it looks like he's not going to play this week. It sucks, man. It's week 7 still hasn't played. I think he might meet next week's probably the earliest, but I think honestly it might be week 9 is when we see him play for the first time. It sucks, but it is what it is at this point, and we're just gonna have to wait and see when Chase Young comes back. But we need, I want to see this guy back. I want to see what he can do if he can live up to that number 2 overall pick. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks again because like if this was a normal ACL tear, he would have been back by now. But he
Oh
had the
yeah, for sure.
ACL tear on top of was it a like a ruptured patella tendon? He had a lot. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't just the normal ACL. And I think when he comes back, he's going to be better. I think he's going to take some time to get back to what he what he is going to be because I think he gets back week last. I think he's going to come back probably the Colts game maybe or the game after that, and it's going to take him about. He's probably not going to get back to like week 13. Like he's probably not because he's going to have to get the ability, not the ability, but he's going to get the feel for
I
hitting
agree.
people again. He's going to have to get the game shape back in him. Like it's a difference between practicing, working out, and being in game shape. There's a difference between hitting sleds and practice and soft tapping each other in practice, you're not trying to hurt each other, but then going out and trying to hit, people will let big 300-pound linemen try to come push you back. It's a difference from that. So I think he's probably going to come back maybe the Colts game or the Texas game. I think it's the Colts and then the Texans. I think it is. I'm not sure. But I think it's a Colts. No, is it the Colts and then Eagles?
I think so.
I think it's the Colts and then Eagles. So either one of those games, he's going to come back, and he is probably going to take some time to get better and trying to get back into shape. But I just want to see him back out there, man, because he's not a bust, but like it sucks because I want to see our number 2 overall pick out there, man. I miss Chase Young. I miss seeing the ability of having some type of edge rushing threat alongside Montez Sweat. But right now, the units playing collectively good, so I'm not gonna take no credit away from them. But again, you spend a second round overall pick on this guy. You obviously want to see him out there. So yeah, that's how I feel about that.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you handling that, Armin. Let's see. I was gonna read a question. Forgot what it. Oh, what are the chances Ron and Co used Wentz injury as an excuse for another dud, and they run it back? Well, I think that it shouldn't be an excuse. Maybe they use it as an excuse. I honestly think Snyder isn't gonna fire Rivera. I think it's more likely that Rivera steps down then Rivera gets fired. I think Rivera could be very frustrated at the end of this year. He's getting old. He's a little older. He's probably above average in terms of NFL coaches, in terms of age. So maybe he wants to retire or step down. It's too much stress. This job is stressful. I mean, any head coach job is stressful. But Commanders, on top of that, with all the allegations every day he has to get asked about, it makes him more stressful and more annoying. I could see that happening, honestly. I could see Rivera stepping down. Do I think it will happen? I don't know, but I think there's a chance Rivera comes back next year and they don't fire him. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I mean it's never good to rush a player back from injury, especially I agree with you when you're 2-4. I don't think we're gonna be rushing him though. It's been over a year, or no, it's almost been a year since his ACL
November. I want to say, was it 19th or it was November? It was the Bucks game. I want to get that actual date correct though, so give me a second. I want to actually get it correct. Bucks,
yeah, it was like
Washington football team. Let's see. Do you know it actually on top of your head?
But it was week 10, right?
Yeah, it was week 10, or because I know we were coming off a bye week. It was November 14th, so we're almost at a month. It was November 14th.
It's 11 months plus since Chase Young got that injury, so it's not. We definitely haven't rushed him back. Because it's almost been a year. Okay, so you meant run it back with Wentz. I would say I could definitely see them. I think it depends, DeAndre, on where they're picking. If they're picking in the top 5, I think it will be a QB, and they'll take that guy. But if they're at 10, 11, 12, and they don't think they can get a top 5 pick or any quarterback they really, really want, that's when I think that they could use that Wentz injury as an excuse to run it back with him. So I understand the question more now, and I definitely see what you're saying there. So that's definitely something to consider. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. So I think we're gonna call it a day there. Again, got 106 people in here, so I know some of you haven't subscribed. So go ahead and sub up. Trying to get to 10K pretty soon. Also, of course, sub up to Juan. If you just click on the name on the title, it'll take you to his channel. Or if you click that link in the chat, it'll take you to his channel as well. So, yeah, big week this week for the Commanders. If they win, I think everyone's going to be really excited about the next few weeks. And the Heinicke Hive will be as popular as ever. What's up, Rockanera? Appreciate you coming through. And, yeah, just hit that rewatch button. But, man, appreciate you guys coming through. And, yeah, might have a stream later on this week. Juan, you got anything to plug real quick?
Yeah, man. As always, being boy Juan Gotti. You can follow me on YouTube on the road to 5,000 subscribers at Juan Gotti Talking Sports. It's the same as my Instagram and Twitter, Juan Gotti Talking Sports. And that's where I'll be posting everything on YouTube. I got videos coming out every day. I got obviously the play-by-play live streams coming out. So I'm fully locked and loaded. Whether the team's gonna be good or not for the rest of the season, I'm gonna be here dropping fire content. So is my man Pedro and everyone else in this community. So make sure you guys subscribe to all of us. But you can find me at Juan Gotti Talking Sports. Again, on the road to 5,000 subscribers, about 200, 300 away. So hopefully we can get there soon. And yeah, man, I appreciate you for letting me come on the channel yet again.
Yep, sub to both of us. Both trying to grow our channels, and yeah, like Juan said, we both post basically every single day. And yeah, appreciate you coming through and appreciate you coming on, Juan. Peace, guys.
Peace.